Meet our patient volunteer, Paul. Paul is a classical Chinese professor, highly influenced by Confucian ideas of collectivism. As a loyal husband and father, he puts his family above all else and continues to sacrifice his career for their benefit. At the beginning of our meetings, his main concern was his tendency to go to sleep at 3 or 4 a.m. after taking a 1-hour nap just after dinner, and waking up at 10:30 to 11 a.m. He wished to go to bed around midnight and wake up around 8:30 a.m. We learned very quickly, though, that he is resistant to strict schedules and using technology to facilitate behavior change. He also emphasized that he doesn't want to, quote, push it. He prefers lifestyle changes to happen naturally. For our first experiment, we asked Paul to track his sleep patterns for 1 week and to jot down notes about what led him to go to sleep when he did. We learned that Paul tends to stay up until around 3 a.m. due to general anxiety about 3 main topics. Number 1 is work. Paul experiences significant anxiety if he fails to complete his preparation for his classical Chinese class, and often finds himself researching new vocabulary for his students late into the night. Number 2 is finances. Paul's daughter will be attending medical school starting in the fall, and he's concerned about supporting her in the long term. Number 3 is household chores. His wife frequently delegates household responsibilities to him, often bringing out his frustration with faulty technology. Most recently, he has been tasked with finding his wife's graduation gown in a sea of boxes in his garage. Only once he feels satisfied in these 3 realms does he take his nightly 30-minute walk and crawl into bed with his broken eye mask and ski cap. We saw this nightly walk as a potential point of intervention, which led into our second experiment, deliberately walking earlier in the night to trigger early sleep. This experiment failed. Paul maintained his previous sleeping habits. Nevertheless, this experiment triggered an aha moment for our team. When we asked him why he wanted to go to bed earlier, he said that he believed only morally deficient people had his sleeping habits, an idea he cultivated by observing his successful colleagues. At this point, we realized he was experiencing a conflict between what he wanted to do and what he thought he should do. He also loved working late at night, so much that we didn't see any indication that he wished to change his habit. For example, he said, stayed up much too late, but gained a very substantial breakthrough while working during the late, quiet hours. Love that high concentration that only comes when I know the phone won't ring. We needed to backtrack. Commence experiment number 3. Paul had already expressed how much he enjoyed his nightly walks, and how he had observed significant improvements in his upper body strength, posture, and lung capacity. What if Paul walked in the morning too? He loved this idea. If the physical benefits from his nightly walks weren't benefit enough, he was also motivated by a comment his wife made in the past that he walked like an old man. In the next week, Paul's goal was to walk for 20 to 30 minutes every morning after drinking his coffee and every evening. He found great success. His morning walks improved his productivity during the day and made him feel more alert, energetic, and confident, as he says. He also says, I thought that since in the night fewer people are going on the sidewalk, it's easy to walk. But in the daytime, it's not so difficult to walk.
However, since in the next week he was quite busy, he was not able to walk in the morning. At the meeting, we wondered if we can reframe the way Paul thinks about walking during busy days, from being a nuisance to being a benefit. In talking about the benefits of walking, he has gradually changed his perspective. Although he was quite busy for preparing for his class, he walked to some extent, especially a few days in the past week. He walked to downtown, and it took 70 minutes. This is a great progress. He thinks that he is at the early stage in adhering to this walking habit. He understands that it is good for his health to walk even 5 minutes. In the next 6 months, he wants to repeat it and adhere to this walking habit. In addition, since he has a more flexible schedule in this summer, he wants to exercise more by swimming, carrying weights, and walking downtown once or twice per week. In addition, he is interested in physical therapy for balance. We introduced the idea of having constant contact with his daughter about his goals. He seems interested, but wishes not to intrude on her life or to talk about himself too much. That being said, he doesn't want to continue the type of interaction we have with him over text, which he finds to be a good social stimulus. In this project, we enjoyed working with him and learned a lot about behavior changes. We hope that he and we can build healthy behaviors more.